let's get started. Every first Tuesday of the month, I'll be leading this Ultimate Foreclosure Formula Supergroup. And I've been in the business since 1990. It actually took me a year to get my first property done, to buy my first house, but it was a long process to get over the paralysis of analysis. And then once I got past that, that was a HUD foreclosure. And then I bought a VA foreclosure, and then I got 4 townhomes in the same neighborhood from the savings and loan collapse. Once again, those were bank-owned foreclosures. So early in my career, I did a lot of foreclosures, and it just kept on happening. And then fast forward from 1990 to 2000, I started buying foreclosures at the courthouse steps. Prior to 2000, I had only gone there and checked it out, but I was really buying them REOs, post foreclosure. So we'll talk a little bit about the 3 stages of foreclosure today. And if you have any issues, questions, comments, let me know. So let's talk about how to buy them. One of the mantras, if you're around me very long, you'll hear me say all the time, make more offers, see less houses. And that's the key to the business, especially in the market. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I look at foreclosures all over the state of Georgia. We've done foreclosures in other states too, but in this particular market, it is super competitive. So you have to make offers quickly and then set up your contract, set up your offer so that you're protected, in being able to make a blind offer and then go to the house and check it out. I kind of feel like I trained the industry on that about 15 years ago or so, and now everybody does it. And it's funny because COVID has kind of pushed us down that path. So when it comes to foreclosures, there's 3 stages. Stage 1 is called pre-foreclosures. This is where you buy directly from the homeowner. And that's the same foreclosure list that's going to the courthouse to be sold to the highest bidder at public auction. Some states, it's sold inside the courthouse. Some states like Georgia and Texas, it's sold outside the courthouse. Tennessee sold outside the courthouse. There's judicial and non-judicial process. So if you're just getting started and you've never done foreclosures before, you want to be able to just Google your state, say Texas foreclosure process, Florida, California, Nevada, whatever it is, look up the foreclosure process for your state and it'll tell you how it works. And then, so stage 1 is pre-foreclosure. If the borrower who is in default is not able to stop the foreclosure, in other words, pay the back payments, if they're not able to stop it, then the property goes into stage 2. And if you're in a judicial state, then the lender has to sue. You have a defendant and a plaintiff, and they'll have to sue to get the property back. And that goes in front of the judge inside the courthouse. And again, it'll be auctioned off to the highest bidder. If you are in a non-judicial state, then it gets advertised for 4 consecutive weeks, and then it goes to the courthouse steps, and it gets auctioned off to the highest bidder at the steps. And depending on what state you're in some cases, in stage 2 foreclosures, some cases you have to bring all of your money to the steps to buy the property on the spot. And that's what happens in Georgia, Texas. You have to bring all the money. In some states, you bring 5% or 10%, and within 24 hours, you need to have the rest of the money and go pay for the property. That's in stage 2. So stage 2 foreclosures is not for the new investor unless you have a strong team who's experienced behind you. And then stage 3, if the property in stage 2, if the property does not sell to the highest bidder, then it goes back to the bank and it becomes an REO. And bank REO means real estate owned. And in stage 3, you're buying directly from the bank. So these days, because Wall Street hedge fund investors have entered into the single family investment class, not very many properties go back to the bank anymore. They get sold at the courthouse. So, but again, in stage 2, if it doesn't get sold to the highest bidder, and sometimes it won't get sold because the highest bidder is not paying enough. It's not an absolute auction in most cases. An absolute auction says, I'm going to give you an opening bid. And if somebody bids $1 over that opening bid, then we are absolutely required to sell it. In foreclosure auctions, these are reserve auctions. Talk about that in a second, Eric. These are reserve auctions. So there is a bank's reserve that has to be met. So typically what happens at the auction is there is an opening bid that's below the reserve amount. That way, the trustees, the auctioneers, the foreclosing attorneys, they can build a frenzy, an auction frenzy, to get people to start bidding on it. But then they have under closed wrap most of the time a reserve that has to be met. Now, I always say that time changes things with real estate. And sometimes lender's reserve is too high and the market won't pay it. So even if it goes back to the bank in stage 3, then what happens is time changes things, and eventually the lender comes down and sells the property for less than reserve. Typically, those are very ugly houses. Those houses need a lot of work. Question, what is the time frame within each stage before it advances to the next stage? So each state is different. Georgia, a lot of investors like to buy foreclosures in Georgia and Texas. We have the exact same laws in Georgia and Texas where what happens is, first of all, the borrower stops making payments. Once they stop making payments, the lender's trying to contact them. After many attempts, the lender will send out, if they're unsuccessful, they will send out a letter. And let's say they send out a letter this month and they say, hey, hi, call us. We don't want to foreclose, but if we don't hear from you, you leave us no option. We're going to go ahead and put the property up, advertise it like I have to do legally for the next 4 consecutive weeks. And then we're going to take it to the foreclosure auction the first Tuesday of the month. So Florida, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, just to name a few, are some of the longest foreclosure processes. And in a judicial process, when you have to sue to get it, those suits can take a year, in some cases 2 years. So you have to know state by state. From stage 1, the pre-foreclosure, that process can take a long time. In Georgia, it's pretty much 60 to 90 days. So once the property mortgage has not been paid for at least 2 months, the lender's going to try to contact the borrower. And in the 3rd month, if the borrower hasn't done anything, then they're going to go ahead and get the foreclosing attorney and the lender, and they're going to put out another series of certified letters to the borrower and send it to them in regular mail. And then they're going to advertise 4 consecutive weeks in the legal newspaper of that county. And then it goes to the foreclosure process. So each state is different, like I keep saying. So ours, the first Tuesday of every month. We have 159 counties in Georgia. Texas has 254 counties. And you could go to any one of those counties. We call it Super Tuesday on the first Tuesday of the month between the legal hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And you will see a frenzy of a bunch of people out there watching or bidding on properties. Pretty much 80 to 90% of the people there are not bidders. Only about 10 to 20% are actually bidding. And so that's the time frame for stage 1. And it's gotten, stage 1 has, the time frame has gotten longer and longer and longer over the years. So right now, we just had a moratorium, right? The government's moratorium pretty much put defaulted loans on hold for 2 years. So that means we have a strategy called Subject 2, where we go out and we buy houses direct from sellers in pre-foreclosure. And we'll talk a little bit about pre-foreclosure negotiations in a second. But if they were in the moratorium, if they were in default in March 2020, that's 2+ years of mortgage payments that have not been made. I've seen them as long as 6 years in Florida. So it all depends. There's just a lot of reasons why they can get delayed. Another reason that stage 2 can get delayed is because the borrower filed bankruptcy. And the borrower can file bankruptcy twice and postpone, which puts handcuffs on the lender again, and the lender cannot foreclose because the bankruptcy stayed or postponed the foreclosure. So sometimes bankruptcies could delay it anywhere from 6 months to a year. There has been a ruling in the last decade that the third bankruptcy no longer stays the foreclosure. So that's a pretty tedious process there. So it really can go up many months, but that's a loaded question. I know that, Eric. To ask that question, there's a lot more to that subject than just how long is the stage, right? Stage 3 is what happens in this day and age, in 2022 and beyond. Once the property goes into foreclosure, if it does not sell to the highest bidder, it goes back to the bank, and now the bank becomes the legal owner. Prior to that, they had a lien on the property, they had a mortgage on the property, but now they become the owner. And then once they become the owner, then they take the property back and they put it back into the market. Now they still have their reserve, they still have their defaulted, it's a non-performing asset that did not get paid. So now they're gonna keep a reserve amount. They're gonna want to recover that mortgage amount that was in default, plus reasonable fees, foreclosure fees, title fees, all kind of stuff. They're going to want to recover that. And then they put it back on the market. Today, most of the time when you're trying to buy an REO, it has to be purchased through REO sites, auction sites. And I'll show you the top ones that I know of. But you're buying directly from the bank in stage 2 and directly from the bank in stage 3. They're through auctioneers or auction sites. Is it the right assumption that stage 1 is the most advantageous level to acquire property? Man, I couldn't planted these questions any better. Thanks, Eric, for asking. Actually, is stage 1 the most advantageous level? Foreclosures in every stage have a little bit of a risk, and you have to learn where the landmines are. You have to learn where you're going to get blown up if you're not careful. So if you buy a property in pre-foreclosure, one, you're dealing directly with the homeowner. And so when you deal directly with the homeowner, it can be an easier process than dealing with the bank, or you could buy it for less in some cases. A lot of our pre-foreclosure, and I do pre-foreclosure mail campaigns, direct mail campaigns, marketing campaigns every month in the entire state of Georgia. And so it's like a marathon in a 30-day sprint every month for me to play in pre-foreclosures. There's a lot of advantages. We do creative purchases. So one big advantage, you do not have to bring all cash to closing in stage 1. Sometimes, and I'll show you the magic questions in the next few slides here. You ask them, Mr. Jones, are you willing to walk away from your house for what you owe on it? I need some money to move. How much do you need? Can we help you move? $1,000. If I gave you $1,000, would you be willing to walk away from the home for what you owe on it? We'll get the foreclosure stopped. We will go ahead and bring the loan current. In other words, we'll pay your lender money to bring that loan current. So that'll stop your downward spiral of bad credit, and it'll start immediately. We're going to be making that payment on your behalf every month. So that's the subject to process. And we've had a couple homeowners who went through foreclosure a few years back and now are qualified to buy a home again. And so we help them understand that, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We try to stop the foreclosure. It's better for you if you do stop the foreclosure. In some cases, what happens though, if you buy in stage 1, you have to do a complete title search. Somebody in the title company, the closing attorney's office has to do a complete title search. And think about this. If somebody's roof over their head is in foreclosure, that means they're not making the payment of the roof over their head. Guess what that means with the rest of their bills? They're not paying their bills. And in some cases, they attach liens and judgments to the title. So when you buy in pre-foreclosure, you have to understand somebody, and usually not the defaulted borrower has the money to do it. Somebody has to pay those off before you can get a clean title. So there is an advantage for pre-foreclosures. The only disadvantage, well, stage 2 disadvantages, you typically have to have all the money in a very short period of time, either right there at the steps or in short order. You have to have all of the money. So unless you have very deep pockets, you have to have a way to get that money quickly. Stage 3, oh, by the way, in stage 2, there are some liens and judgments that survive the foreclosure. So you have to be careful again, when you buy at the foreclosure, you better make sure your team knows how to do a very thorough title search so that you don't acquire a landmine attached to that, a financial landmine attached to that deed when you buy it. Stage 3 is probably the least risky as long as you play well. In other words, each states have different titles to the title of the property, different names to the title of the property. I'm going to go with the warranty deed. The warranty deed represents the title of the property. And if you get a limited warranty deed, a special warranty deed, or a general warranty deed, and eventually in post foreclosures, and you make sure you get owner's title insurance policy when you purchase the property, you have the least amount of risk in stage 3. And you usually have anywhere from 30 to 45 days to get your money ready to buy that property. So you need some type of a deposit, and it could be anywhere from $500 on a HUD foreclosure to 10% on some of these others. So if you won the bid for $200,000, you may need to have to put $20,000 non-refundable immediately within 24 hours of winning that bid. So again, understanding the rules and regs on how to play foreclosure is very important. It's not something you want to do on your own, by the way. All right, let's start with stage 1. I just want to talk a little bit today, actually, tonight I'm going to talk about stage 1 and stage 3. When the property reaches stage 3, isn't there more competition? Right now, there's so much competition. And Eric, what state are you in? There's so much competition at the courthouse steps or at stage 2, and there's so much competition in stage 3. The problem with stage 3 is that we have a bottleneck. You guys know what the foreclosure moratorium was, the foreclosure forbearance, that bottleneck anywhere from 4 to 8 million properties across the country in the last 2 years that had to sit on the sidelines, right? So there has been a shortage of inventory. And one of the biggest shortages is the foreclosure inventory has not gone through the pipeline. It's sat there on the sidelines. Well, it's over. So we've just started to see right now, our numbers have already doubled here in Georgia from where they had been for 24, more than 24 months. March 20 to March 21, March 22. So for about 22 months, our numbers just this month and last month have doubled the number of foreclosures each month. It's a very small number already for the last 2 years, but they've doubled. And I expect them to double again in the next couple of months, and double and then quadruple, right? To get back to a normal, in other words, the insured loans, the FHA loans, the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, VA loans, they have been sitting on the sidelines. Now they're going to start coming through the pipeline and go to auction. Some of those will end up in the REO bucket. So yes, very good questions. I'm so glad you asked. There's a lot of competition in stage 2 and stage 3. In stage 1, you have to dig for gold. You're out there mining for leads. You're out there looking for motivated sellers. And that's primarily what I do. I have the ultimate foreclosure formula, but we saturate our market. We look at probate every month, and we look at foreclosure every month, and we backfill with distressed properties, vacant properties, abandoned properties, for sale by owner properties, expired listings, absentee owner, burned out landlords. So we backfill whatever area we're working, and we look at all of those leads. But all of that goes back to, where are we right now in the cycle of real estate? And where we are is direct to seller leads. regardless if it's for pre-foreclosure or something else, we are looking for motivated sellers because there's so much competition on the radar. You have to go off the reservation. You have to go off the radar and find the deal that nobody else is looking at. So that's kind of, makes it a little bit less competition in pre-foreclosures, but there's a lot of investors out there mailing to them as well. So we're going to talk about 1 and 3. So creating the deal, I say that the 6 things you must do to be successful: make as many offers as you can, send follow-up offers. It's almost inevitable that your first offer is not going to get accepted. In this market where we're still at a strong seller's market, as a real estate investor, I don't want to bring all cash to the table and pay the top of the market price. That's not me. The hedge funds are doing it. And so sometimes we're going to say, we'll give them their price if they'll work with me on terms. And so in that case, it has to be a process to come around. So following up is very, very important. And this screen right here is really about dealing directly with homeowners. When it comes to REOs, that's another bucket where you want to stay in follow up, because what happens is, remember what I said, time changes things in real estate. So today the reserve is here and my high bid is here. I'm going to be the highest bidder, but I don't get the property because I didn't meet the reserve, right? So they said, no, back to auction. So they put it in auction again and again and again. We got one here in LaGrange, Georgia. That thing has been on auction all of last year on REO auction, and nobody's buying it. The reserve is too high. The property's in really bad shape. So in that particular case, we're just going to wait it out. So that follow-up becomes super important. Automate as much as possible. Create a buyer's list so that if you're wholesaling, for example, a lot of wholesalers out there, if you're trying to wholesale properties or fix and flip, you got to be ready to who's going to buy your property. Keep motivated leads coming in. This is one of the things that a lot of investors get stuck. They finally get a deal going and then they stop mining or farming for more leads, and so the momentum just fell apart. So you got to keep that momentum going. Follow up with everyone always. You have to have some sort of lead sheet. This is what we use. The property information sheet. This is our lead sheet. So when you're talking to sellers, I always recommend you need to, make as you're studying on REI USA, you need to make a investor toolbox wish list. And in your investor toolbox, you need a couple clipboards. And on your clipboard, I've got these property information sheets all over my life. That's a couple because I'm in the middle of pre-foreclosures now. We're going to buy this house right here. We're closing on it Friday. The foreclosure, look how much I write on it. I write all over it, and I use electronic too. But for me, I have to have it. These are all my pre-foreclosures that have responded to some of my emails in my text messaging and my marketing this month. So you have to have them, have to have your clipboards. Those are property information sheets. That's my lead sheet. These arrows here. Oh, and I say get 2 clipboards, put one in your car. You want to always be ready to write a deal, write an offer. But put one in your car, put 25 copies on there, put 25 copies on the clipboard in near your telephone at home, office, near your computer, wherever you are taking calls. So you have 2 clipboards with property info sheets on them. All these arrows are the most important questions in here. And the asking price, this is typically somebody calls me, says, hey, I got a letter in the mail from you. I'm saying, great, what's your name? Can you spell that for me? Et cetera, et cetera. Give me your number in case we get disconnected. What's your situation? Why are you selling? And then I shut up. And she says, or he says, oh my gosh, we had a bad accident and lost our job and COVID and somebody passed, all kind of crazy, heart-wrenching stories. And so you listen and you take notes, and I write them all over my property information sheets. What do you want to have happen? And I say, I am so sorry to hear that. Now, my team, and you guys can say this, I say, I've been working with families for over 20 years in a similar situation. What do you want to have happen? And once again, I shut up. I want to hear everything they want to say. Usually it's, I want to keep my house. I want to stop the foreclosure and just walk away. I just want to be done with this. I just don't want the foreclosure on my record. Or I have a lot of equity, but I need to get, I want to get $50,000 and get this closed by Friday. So they want the most money they can, or they want to keep their house, or they just want to wash their hands and stop the foreclosure. What I'm looking for is the one who wants to sell their house first. So what do you want to have happen? That's what I'm trying to find out there. Then look at the blue-green arrows and the yellow highlight. If we can stop, Cindy, I get it. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. If we can stop the foreclosure, would you be willing to walk away for what you owe on it? Yes, I would. I just need a little bit of money to move and I'm done. We've already started packing. Cindy, where are you going to go? And she tells me, I don't know. I'm going to go somewhere. We want them to move out. When we buy pre-foreclosures, we want them to move out. And then I say, when do you want to close? Now I see that the foreclosure is set next Tuesday, so we don't have much time. Now I do have a field services team, and I can have them come out there. They can help you finish packing. All I want you to do is decide what you want. Don't worry about the rest. We'll take care of the rest. We'll get, if they need to be donated, we'll donate them. If they need to be sold, we'll help you sell them. If they need to be, put in the trash, whatever it is, we'll bring a dumpster and take care of everything. I just want you to get a fresh start. And that's what we're here to help you do. And that's what we do. The most important thing when we're dealing with pre-foreclosures is one, where they're going to go. I circled that in red. It's highlighted and circled in red. They know where they're going and when. If they don't, then I don't have a deal, because I'm not going to close while they're still in the house. That's there are other times that you can close and buy houses with people in there, but you don't want to do it on pre-foreclosures. The existing mortgage information, that's another very important part. So I said, when I go back to the beginning, you call me on my letter. Thank you. Who are you? What's your number? Tell me what's the address of the property? What's your situation? Tell me what happened. What's your situation? Why are you selling? What do you want to have happen? Cindy, if we can stop the foreclosure, would you be willing to walk away? Where are you going to go? When? Let me ask you a question. Do you know who's your lender? And I'm going to that bottom part right there, that whole box of existing mortgage information. Do you know what the balance on your mortgage is? And how much is your monthly payment? And see where it says PITI? Then I ask, does that include your taxes and insurance? And then I keep going. When's the last time you spoke to your lender? You see the arrow at the very bottom? Amount in arrears. I don't say that to them. I say, how much is needed to bring the loan current? So I know how much is needed to bring it current. I know what the potential balance on the loan is. I know what the monthly payment is, whether it's PI or PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So I know all that. So now I know how to structure my offer. That's the beauty of this page right here. So you got to have some kind of script. You have to have some kind of lead sheet. You have to know where you're going. You see what I'm saying? So we're still in pre-foreclosures, talking to sellers. These are your questions. When I teach my classes, I tell people, go buy, now we're back to your investor toolbox. Here's something you want to go buy. Buy a pack of oversized index cards. Remember in first, second, third, fourth grade, we're learning multiplication tables and things like that. And you have flashcards. Here's the picture on one side. Here's the type of flower. Here's the insect. Here's the name. It's like that. I want you to have your flashcards. I want you to put down these leading questions on there, and big enough so that you can have them on your clipboard so that you know where you're going in the conversation with them. That's what's so important. Ms. Jones, what's your situation? Why are you selling? What do you hope to have happen? If we pay all cash and closed on the day of your choice, what's the lowest you would take? Do you have a mortgage? Would you be willing to walk away for what you owe on it? I'm going very fast here because we have a very short period of time, and I like to give really good quality and training. You guys can go back and watch this over and over again, but this is it right here. That's where the rubber meets the road. If you want to learn how to work pre-foreclosures, probate, any other direct to seller lead, this is your situation right here. So we ask questions like, If I gave all cash and closed on the day of your choice, what's the lowest you would take? That's my cash offer price. That's what I need to know what they want. If I gave you your price, would you work with me on terms? That's my seller finance question. And then my subject to question, would you be willing to walk away for what you owe on it? So those are the three basic places that we go. And then I help investors get to that place and they say, oh my God, they said yes, now what do I do? And so then there's the fair enough script. So you've got a team. You're in Stacy's environment here. You're in REI USA. We're all here for you. As a matter of fact, I put my support at Darby's Houses email at Darby's. If you're in a situation and you found a seller that says, yes, 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 I need to sell my house in the next 30 days. You get through all that information. You say, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me about your house. Let me see how I can make the numbers work. What I want to do now is do a little research on the computer and see what the market looks like in your area and discuss it with my partners. If the numbers look good and I think we can make it work, then I'll call you back and arrange to come out and go over the agreement with you and review the whole process together. Is that fair enough? Yes. Great. If you like everything and agree, all I ask is that you be prepared to sign the agreement. Then is that fair enough? Because we're talking to a lot of families and, you know, the foreclosure happens often. So we just want to make sure we only really want to have one visit if we could. So you have to memorize. I say, memorize this script. That's part of your action items. Memorize this script. Get the property information sheet. And I have a free ebook. If you guys want to take this down, I think, let me try this and see if I can do it. Control C. I have a free ebook that is it's 5 easy steps to getting started in real estate. And it has the fair enough script in there. And it has the scripts like I was showing you, the property information sheet. It has that stuff in there. So I'm just trying to give you away the property information sheet, same thing. Now you could just go ahead and get that QR code right there and it'll take you right to it. You could copy it or you can go to that link that I just put in the chat box, either way. But that'll get you the property information sheet. It'll get you the free ebook on how to get started in the business. You know, the scripting that we just talked about for the last 30 minutes, those kind of things. All right. Questions, comments? Stage 3, that was stage 1. That was the down and dirty. How do you get started in the business in stage 1? As you go back to REI USA, if you look up this super group, the Ultimate Foreclosure Formula, I have several recorded videos on her site, so you can go back there and see them. Okay, stage 3, post foreclosures. I'm going to show you just a few quick. Oops, hold on. There's your property information sheet. Sorry, I thought that was on the screen for you. You could take that QR code right there and get all these freebies. In pre-foreclosures, is it customary for the owner completely vacate before any monies are exchanged? There's the rule and then there's the exception to the rule. Unfortunately, my team says, I don't know why you make rules because you're always working in the exceptions. It's better to have them completely vacate. Now, what happens is, understand that, again, if somebody's losing the roof over their head, they're in dire straits. And so part of my process is I'm always trying to help people as well as buy real estate in this process. And so if I can't give them at least $1,000, then the deal's too skinny or I'm too greedy. So I always try to give them at least $1,000 plus getting them moved. Sometimes if they don't know where they're going, but they're ready to move on, then I will go ahead and help them move into an extended stay hotel, 1 month, maybe 2 months. I will also hire a moving truck. I will also give them, get them a storage unit for 1 to 2 months, plus stay in the extended stay if they don't know where they're going. I always try to help them think outside the box. Don't you have a relative, a friend, a family at church, somebody that will allow you to stay there temporarily? We can help you with a little bit of relocation assistance or cash for keys, whatever you want to say. You know, and that's how we help them get past that struggle. It's tough. It's really tough. All right, so these are your bonuses. Stage 3, let's talk about stage 3. We got not too much time left. So in stage 3, I say now's the time to prepare for the foreclosure tsunami. It's very competitive in stage 3, but it's very competitive in stage 2, and it's very competitive in stage 1. But I'm buying houses. Right now, we have not bought at the steps for a long time. And it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of resource. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to go to the stage 2 every month, only to be bid out on the few properties that are there. So now is the time to work stage 1 and stage 3. But on stage 3, I'm going to give you some websites I want you to start researching. All right. Stage 1, go back and listen to this, put it down in 0.75 speed so you can hear it at normal speed, not Darlene speed. So go listen to it slower. And you can really, and take the ebook, right? Take the ebook and look at the easy steps to get started working direct to seller leads. And then stage 3, this is what we're going to talk about in the next 15 minutes, is follow what I'm showing you here. And even though there are a lot of people competing for these properties, you will be able to buy some. It just takes a lot of follow-up, and it takes a lot of consistency. You got to constantly, I have my calendar, my whole life revolves around auction. So my calendar has blackout days in my life. I can't do anything the first Tuesday of every month. And then the fourth Friday before the first Tuesday is when my list comes out, and I spend 3 to 5 days analyzing properties on that list and then creating the marketing campaign. And I do that. It takes me 3 to 5 days from the day I get the list, which is in my market, 4 Fridays before the Super Tuesday. So like I said, it's a marathon in a very short sprint period. Anyway, so all right. So the easiest part of the business is how to work stage 3. That's the easiest part. It is competitive, and it's going to take a while. Where is a good place to start finding homeowners who have just defaulted or in pre-foreclosure? Is there a site or service that specializes in this arena? So, there's different list providers. So you want to look up real estate list providers. Melissa Data is one. melissadata.com, list source, and then foreclosure on my website, foreclosure.com. If you go to my website, hold on a second, let's see, ultimate foreclosureformula.com. And you'll see this foreclosure.com. It'll say get leads in your area. So you could go there and you'll see it on there, and you could pull that down. Realty Track is another one. In my area, it depends on where you are. Like in Georgia, we have equitydepot.net. I buy the list for the entire state. Texas has the Roddy report. So there's all kind of, each state has something, but if you type in, if you Google your area and say foreclosure lists, but also if you send me an email to support@Darby's and ask me, we can get on a one-on-one together, and I'll be happy to take you through some things. Now, if you're already knowing how to use the chat box, look where you type in the message, and you'll see across from where it says to everyone or whatever it says there, the 3 dots that say more. Click on there and save chat. Go ahead and save the chat so you have all these notes that you can save when we're done. All right, so stage 3, buying directly from the bank, and it's mostly online bidding. Most of these properties are in your MLS, but you have to bid online to get the properties. So I'm going to show you my favorite online auction platforms, and you want to take a screenshot of this or write these down. Auction.com is the most user-friendly, investor-friendly auction site out there. And even at the courthouse, they're the most investor-friendly crier. In Texas, it's horrible. In Houston and Harris County, it's not fun at all. Those people are not very nice. They're their own country, if you ask them, right? They don't want outsiders. They don't want anybody that's not part of their group to come and start bidding. So you have to learn how to play in these sandboxes. but auction.com is one of the easiest ones to work. I want you to go to auction.com and set up a free account. If you do nothing else after tonight, go set up a free account in auction.com. HUDhomestore.com. These are FHA foreclosures. So these are called HUD homes, right? HUD REOs. So, you know, you want to get, if I had more, I'd go to some of these sites, but I don't have more time to do that. But go to HUD Home Store. You have to have a HUD broker do your bidding for you. But the thing I like about HUD Home Store, again, there's very little inventory to speak of because FHA loans have been sitting on the sidelines because of the moratorium and the forbearance. Now it's the faucet is turning on, and you're going to start seeing some HUD foreclosures in each state. The thing I like about HUD, they only require $500 earnest money or $1,000 earnest money, depending on the purchase price of your offer. So that's very good. And there's a lot, there are Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, there's homepath.com, homesteps.com. They're all pretty similar, you know, in how they work. If you are in the process of buying a house for yourself, or if you're a real estate agent and you're trying to help somebody buy a house, these are three really good websites: HUD Home Store, HomePath, and HomeSteps, to go there because they have a 14-day first look period for homeowners, owner occupants. Investors are not allowed to bid against owner occupants for the first 2 weeks. So that's one opportunity. As we all know, if you've been watching the news, it's very difficult for an owner occupant to compete in the bidding wars out there. But those are three websites: HUD Home Store, HomePath, and HomeSteps. Another one I like is Hudson and Marshall, Exome, and Hubsu.com. So those are my favorite places to go. So this is what I do, depending on wherever you get your list from. This is the list after Darlene touches it for several hours, right? So this is the upcoming auction, and what I turn green is something I'm very interested in, and I get a lot of information on these lists. I get the address of the property that's being foreclosed. I get the owner's information, the tax value. I know how much they bought it for. I know when they bought it. I know the year built, bed bath square foot, year built, lot size. I know the mortgage amount. I know the mortgage that's being foreclosed on and the type of mortgage that's being foreclosed on. I know the foreclosing attorney and their phone number, and so on and so on and so on. So this is the beginning of me analyzing pre-foreclosures. I like to do it in a spreadsheet. I also have Podio as our CRM, as our lead-based management. So, you know, you do whatever your system is, you got to have some kind of automated system. And this is where I start. And this is my, you know, some of mine are red, yellow, and green, just like the traffic light. Go, proceed with caution, or stop. All the red, those are red flags. It doesn't mean I won't buy them. It just means it's going to capture my attention. Anything older than 1970, I just red flag it just because I want to know I'm looking at the older assets. When I look at the older assets, I don't have central air conditioning, for example. So I know my cost is a little higher once I get into the older assets, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what I like to look at. And there's a lot, you know, there's a lot to learn to be really good at this. And that's what you have to do, is you have to figure out. Again, Stacy has an amazing REI USA platform that you can go on and DIY, look at all these videos and learn. The source of this list, this is my pre-foreclosure list for Atlanta, Georgia. So we do get pre-foreclosure leads. I think in that freebie, let me see if I have it here. Back to this freebie again, I can give you pre-foreclosure leads. We do the first couple months for free, and then we charge $29 a month. Just put in as many zip codes as you want. There's 5 lines to put in zip codes. It says zip code number 1, zip code number 2, 3, 4, 5. But because there's so few foreclosures, you could put in 35 zip codes for all I care. Just type in 30101, 30102, 30042, 30053. You can put as many as you want on each line. Different lists have different information that they give to you. That one there that I showed you is the Georgia list. If you reach out to me, like I said, go to the website and you'll see where it says, or click here and you'll see where it says free pre-foreclosure leads. I have an automation for Georgia. I can manually, like I said, I'd prefer to get on one-on-one with you. I can manually pull your area and start going through that together. We'll do like a 50-minute or 60-minute phone call, but just be ready, because as you can see, we can go through time real quick, right? Can you believe it's almost been an hour already. So just be prepared to know what area, preferably by zip code. You could, maybe tell me counties, cities, but preferably by zip code is the best way to go. And what other questions and comments? I mean, that's pretty much all I had for tonight. I wanted to get through, I know it does. I wanted to get through both pre-foreclosure and post-foreclosure REOs. I wanted to get through both sides of that, just so that you understood that's where foreclosures are right now, right? That's where you want to be, is you want to be in the stage 1 and stage 3. Stage 2 and stage 3, there's hardly anything there, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to show you real quick. Tell me a couple states you guys are in. I'm going to do HUD home store. Let me put this back on just because we got a couple more minutes. Let's see, let's do share here. So HUD home store, the entire country. Let's just pick California. California. You have 4 HUD REOs in the entire state, but look at these prices. These are amazing. I don't know the area, but so this is exclusive. This is what I mentioned, that in the exclusive, you see what it says, owner occupants, nonprofits, and government agencies. So you have not, they have to get past the first 2 weeks before this changes to something else. I'm going to show you here, Georgia. What other state do you guys want me to pull? Let me pull Georgia just because I'm here. Georgia. 5. We have 5 in Georgia. You can see this one, the price dropped. And so you have exclusive, 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 and then extended. So this one, anybody can bid on this property, and it's down to $246,600, right? There's a lot of information over here, but this is a foreclosed FHA property that went back to the lender. And so then, like I said, for me, I'm a HUD registered bidder. So I can go ahead and submit an offer for anybody in whatever states I'm working in. Let's take, let's see, who else is here? Pennsylvania. Woo! I'm from Pittsburgh. Rasheen, is that how you say it? By the way, you guys can unmute. Can't you unmute and talk if you wanted? I'm from Pittsburgh. By the way, one of my students, he's in his 2nd year coaching with me, and we're working on deal number 5. We're joint venturing, and he's buying down here in Georgia. But Pennsylvania, let me go back. Where am I? Pennsylvania. Oh, I just spent February in Pennsylvania. Not because it's my favorite time of year. In there, 17 listings. What county are you in? Rasheen. Hey, kitty. Anyway, so basically, and then I could change it once this starts picking up, and you want to keep watching.
I'm in Lehigh Valley.
All right. Look at that. The first
Wilson
one.
Borough.
And where else?
It's Wilson Borough.
Okay. Here's Lehigh. There's just one right now, and it's extended, so it's open for investors to bid on it. And like I said, the good thing here is that you only need 500 or 1,000 earnest money after you win the bid. So not a bad looking house. I don't know about the numbers. You got to know the numbers, but there's one. So there's one, but you want to watch this. I would start
watching. Those numbers do look good.
Say it again.
Those numbers do look good.
Nice.
Right now, everything is jumping up all over in all the states. So I've been watching out here, and yeah, 179 for single family is decent right now.
Nice. Hey, did you hear his kitty? I heard his kitty too.
Yeah, she's ready to eat. I've seen yours, and mine is ready to eat.
Mine must be too. All of a sudden, she's like, "Hey guys, hi." This is Skittle, the feral cat. This is as close as we get. If I try to pick her up, she's gone. So watch it every couple times a week. You want to watch it a couple times a week. And eventually you could change it here, like buyer type. Once this, because FHAs have not been foreclosing, this is very, very minimal. But once they start foreclosing, you'll start seeing a whole bunch more. And I would change the buyer type to investor, right? So then you'll see there. But if I change the buyer type, let me get rid of Lehigh for a second. Just go back to 17, or 11. 11, because there were 17, 11 of them are open to investors. And when you see this down arrow, the price reduced, time changes things in real estate. HUD Homes, they have an unofficial code. They have an unofficial, how do I want to say it? Model of when and how they drop their prices. When I say unofficial, they won't admit it, but pretty much after, after the first 21, 28, 35, 45 days, they start dropping their price. But the other nice thing I like about HUD, put in a bid in every house in your area. Just make it a low ball bid. If you think the property is worth 200,000, let's see, what's 40% or 60% of 200,000 is 120,000, or some number, you wouldn't buy it. They will respond to every offer. That's another thing I like about HUD. Another one I mentioned, you can look at my top row here. I'm sure there they are. I've always got auction.com open. This one's coming up at the steps, but what you want to do with auction.com, I mentioned this is REI JV. This is me. Here's my saved assets. I go in and I save, I heart all the assets I'm interested in, because then I start getting emails anytime something changes. So then I'm going to go here. I like to use their event calendar. And let's say, again, let's just say I want to use Pennsylvania. And I don't want to go to the public foreclosure sale. Let's just say I just want to do the REO bank owned properties for now. Let's just do that. So I've got this, and then there it goes. Today's the 26th. So this one's gone. The 23rd to the 29th. This one's happening right now. And you could say, let me see, I'll take single family, multifamily. Let's go Pennsylvania again. Unfortunately, it's a little quirky here. You just got to keep putting the data in. I'll go to Pennsylvania. And there's 52 assets. Let's see if I can go to Lehigh. There's only one asset. So, but there it is in Bethlehem. The current bid is 65,000. So this auction is going on right now. And this is where I'm saying, go ahead and save it. Once you have a free account, go ahead and hit save. And you'll be getting a
great price for Lehigh. I just looked at a property in Lehigh for 300 and change for a house like that.
Really? So,
yeah.
So tell me about your background. How long you been in the business?
I bought my first property in 2017, a duplex. I was a Bigger Pockets fan, so I was listening to them and house hacking. So that's where it all started for me. And then just last year, like it's funny you talking about you. Well, I guess I joined REI USA because I was in Georgia last year, and talking about auction.com. It was weird because they were there. I had an auction.com account, but they were at Clayton County and they were physically doing auctions. A couple of houses that they had, so
excellent.
I came to Georgia last year to try to buy some property, which that was a cluster because the market was super, super, super duper hot. And that was like the beginning of in the middle of the COVID, but the beginning of the really, really like 25, 30, 40 people standing on line to see one property type business. So, I tried down there and then I converted to doing mobile homes. So I purchased my first mobile home last year. So I've been doing mobile homes right now, but I'm really interested in all of the foreclosures.
So let me ask you a question. We've gone over a little time, so I apologize for
not a problem.
So you see this yellow line here in this house. If you bought this house, what would your exit strategy be in 2 words or less? Would you be a wholesaler or fix and flip, buy and hold? What would you do with this house?
If it's in Bethlehem, I'm not gonna lie, the market is hot over there also. So I would definitely buy and sell.
How far would you say you live from here?
Anything in Bethlehem, I'm probably, because I'm in Easton, about 20 minutes away.
You're about 20 minutes away. Check
Yeah.
this out. Here's what I would do. All right, maybe we'll do it together. Look, so the bid right now is 65,000. According to them, they're not giving a control C. Let me just see what Zillow says. Just real quick. Zillow says that this house is, oh, they're not giving 209. Zillow said this house worth about over 200,000 bucks, right?
Guarantee it is.
So have you done some rehabs? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So what if I'm gonna go ahead and register for this auction right here? And this is what you do, guys. I'm already in their system, of course. I'm gonna register for this auction. I understand. I want to do everything in this one. I understand. I'm not going to go through that. You guys can read your own. And I got to put up a $2,500 bid deposit. Let's see if I've got room on this card. Let's try. So I'm going to register for this auction. And this is the thing about auction.com. You have to put up 25. You have to put a freeze on your account, right? On your credit card. And your next bid is 90,000. How'd that happen? I thought we were at 65,000.
That's what I got. Wow. That's
so here it is right here. Look, the bid increment.
Oh, the bid increments is 20. Oh.
And so that means we're not even close. We're not even close to the reserve. They go
Right.
25, they go 10, they go 5, they go 1,000, they go 500. So when they're this high, that means they're not close. So question, if we bought this house, it would be 94,500. If we bought this house for 94.5, would we make money on it?
Yes.
I'm gonna bid then. I'm gonna bid, all right?
That's show me what's that, a 3-1, right?
It's
huge.
it looks it's a 3 1.5.
3 1.5, yeah.
1,500 square foot. It's built in 1880. So let me just look here real quick. This is what I said earlier, make more offers, see less houses. You got to be careful if you're doing this. You got to be careful. You know, but here's the thing I know. I can make these offers because I'm nowhere near the reserve, right? So here's what it is. Property condition. Let's see what they're saying. Lead-based pay. Oh, there's a violation in the township. So that means, yep.
That year is scary for me.
What year? 1880?
80.
1880. So it's over 100 years old.
That's more than 100 years old.
Yeah, as I said, it's over 100. But this violation says to me that there's something on the outside of the property, most likely, right? But the thing that I know is if I make an offer on this, you have time to go run and look at that property, right? Right. You're my boots on the ground out there.
No,
and it's not talking about building your teams.
No, I can't be the boots on the ground right now. I fly out on Thursday. I got property in Charlotte, in North Carolina, that I'm getting ready to go renovate.
Dude, we're talking about my money here, and you're not even gonna go. You're not gonna back me. All right, I'm not bidding then.
I can't back you today, but I got your info, and I can back you because I'm definitely headed to North Carolina. So I'm gonna be in that triad area: Winston-Salem, Raleigh, Charlotte. So if anything you see over there, I'll definitely be able to be your boots on the ground. I got you. So stay in touch, guys. We're past my time. Stay in touch. And I put support at Darby's houses. Look in the support at Darby's houses. But that's how the game is played right there. I see you playing it well. I'm glad I got to speak with you. Thank you. I'm glad y'all are here. All right, so we got to go into somebody else's time, but appreciate you guys and stay in touch with me. Definitely. I'll shoot you a text so you'll have my info as well. Sounds good. Take care. Fly safe. Be well. Good night. Good night.